with that said, people, let's bring up Pat King just to deal with Pat King. Everybody, also the new format. I can't see the chat, super chat, or any comments while I have the screen shared, so I'm going to miss a ton of it. But I like the way of doing this because we get to talk about stuff in real time. When I go find my notes, Lara Logan, accused convoy leader Pat King complains that he hasn't been able to see his lawyers. I know that we can see it together. I'm just going to double check. Good. So Pat King, for those of you who don't know, is the last remaining convoy organizer. I mean, it depends if you want to call him an organizer, the leader, a spokesperson, whomever, someone involved in the convoy. He's the last one to be in jail subsequent to his arrest on mischief charges in February 18. Tamara Litch, there was the other one who were going to get, I think it was Chris Barber, were arrested and released. Tamara Litch was released after 2.5 weeks in jail on mischief charges, released under such onerous terms that they can still be referred to as, imprisoned, but at least she's home. She just had to leave Ottawa within 72 hours. She had to post $5,000 bond. Her certi had to post a $20,000 certi. She's not allowed on social media. She's not allowed making public comments, encouraging protests. She's not allowed attending any protest. It might be limited to convoy protests, but I think it's any protest across Canada. So she has been released while having her constitutional rights restricted by the terms of her release. Pat King is the only one left in jail right now, and it's been over a month. So Ottawa citizen, accused convoy organizer Pat King complains of limited contact with his lawyers since lockup. He's been held at Innis Road Jail since he was taken into custody during the mass arrests on February 18. Mass arrests, people. Mass arrests. And he's still in jail on mischief charges. I think they say, we'll get to it in a second, but still in jail a month later, while the West rightly criticizes Russia and Putin for locking up, arresting the women's basketball player who might serve 5 to 10 years hard labor, apparently for alleged drug infractions, if anybody believes that she actually tried to bring in drugs, something that was illegal in Russia that might not have been illegal elsewhere, or who knows, wouldn't trust Russian police not to plant things on people for political purposes so they can use it as a bargaining chip in, I don't know, other conflicts. So while the West criticizes Russia for arbitrary abusive detention of the women's basketball player, and rightly so, 1 month plus later, mischief charges, Pat King still in jail. But yeah, one tyrant is calling another tyrant a tyrant. Accused convoy organizer Pat King, I don't think he was an organizer anyhow, but that's a separate issue, complained he's had little contact with his prospective legal team. By the way, this is an interesting framing here. Prospective legal team, as he made a brief court appearance Monday and was given 3 days to try to sort this out before he returns to court Thursday. They're referring to it as his prospective legal team because he has had to mandate new counsel, and he's complaining that he has not been able to have adequate meetings with his new counsel. In the practice of law, when someone gets new counsel repeatedly in the context of a file, my inkling as a lawyer is to think that the client might be problematic. Pat King might be a problematic client, but this is a highly political case, and it's very possible some of these lawyers are saying, I want to have nothing to do with this. I don't want the bar reprisals coming to spot check, inspect me just randomly, but contemporaneously with me representing the defense of the man who's the most hated man in Canada. I need to discuss this with somebody because there's supposed to be a team of lawyers working together on this, and it doesn't seem like any one of them know what's going on, King said via video link from the Ottawa Carleton Detention Center. So if something's going on, I'd like to speak with somebody. King told the judge, yes, sir, I would. He's been held at the Innis Road Jail since he was taken into custody during the mass arrest February 18, then brought an end to the 3-week demonstration by the so-called Freedom Convoy. Well, at least Ottawa Citizen called it a demonstration and not an occupation. Charged with mischief, counseling others to commit mischief, denied bail February 24th. With the justice of the peace citing concerns, he may reoffend while expressing doubt in the reliability of King's proposed certi. I mean, can you imagine that? He may reoffend. Everyone on earth who has been arrested may reoffend by definition. The only difference, I guess, is no, there's no difference. It's outrageous. It's preposterous. It's outlandish. He might reoffend on mischief charges. Okay, that's a risk I'd be willing to let this individual take. The individual who ran over the 4 people in Winnipeg might also reoffend. But there, I might say reoffending by ramming your vehicle into pedestrians, that might be a reoffense that I might be inclined to take less chances with than Pat King going out and reoffending on mischief charges. And then, okay, so that's it. He asked the court to adjourn until Thursday to allow time for King to consult with his prospective lawyers to see what path going forward there is. Justice of the Peace Stephen Dibley issued another stern warning to observers in the online public gallery who once again appear to be live streaming the court proceedings, a contravention of established law and of long-standing courtroom decorum. Yeah, apparently people, we went over this during the Tamara Litch hearing when I thought I was in trouble because I was live summarizing what was going on with an earbud in my ear, listening to what was going on, not broadcasting audio, video, or any visual from the court hearing. Apparently other people did not listen to my warning when I started that stream. And at one point during the proceedings, even King appeared to be pleading with those observers to stop. We're hoping to get a publication ban on this hearing due to a co-accused who continuously keeps putting these on social media, which is detrimental to our case, King told the judge. He told the publication ban. It's interesting. The publication bans, those should be exquisitely exceptional, in my humble opinion, and typically they are. But they seem to be politically motivated. I don't know what could warrant a publication ban in this case, but except maybe the name of the certee of the individual, which was one of the conditions that was addressed in the Tamara Litch rehearing, where the proposed certee, there was a publication ban on the name of Tamara Litch's proposed certee. Okay, the law prohibits people from broadcasting and live streaming. Yeah, we know that. Yada, yada, yada. Okay, what else is there? I think that's pretty much it. So it's continuing until Thursday. By all accounts, King is, I'm going to go ahead and close this one up. King has not been able to have adequate communications with his counsel. And he's apparently seeking new counsel because there's been issues. Now, look, in the practice of law, this is a little pro-life. Oh, I just knocked my camera. Pro-life tip for any aspiring lawyers out there. When you have a client, everyone learns this the hard way typically. When you come across a client who says, yeah, my first lawyer didn't get it, my second lawyer was too busy, my third lawyer was corrupt. The more lawyer, typically, exceptions aside, the more lawyers someone goes through, and whatever they tell you about their previous lawyers, about having been bad, incompetent, not understood the file, sure as sugar, you can predict that they will be telling a future lawyer that about you. And I learned the hard way, when someone comes to you and you're their third lawyer, oftentimes there's a darn good reason for it. And it's, the rule of clients, 80% of your clients, hold on, what is it? 20% of your clients generate 80% of your revenue. And then 20% of your clients generate 80% of your headache. It's more like 1090. It's actually more like 1090. 10% of your clients. Viva, you are sucking. Dude, I can't keep track of everybody who's live at the same time. It's impossible to navigate. I apologize. If you want Ukrainian, updates in the Ukraine, Gonzalo Lira is live. I believe Ricade is live. I think Joe Neerman. It's impossible to coordinate. Sorry. So the life pro tip: if you're a practicing attorney and someone comes to you and you're the nth lawyer, the second, third, fourth, whatever, you have to look into what happened. It's not unheard of to, when you're taking the file or calling the lawyer saying, look, don't tell me anything confidential. Just, I've been contacted by this client. Should I take the file? And then sometimes if you're going to say, look, I'm going to be the third lawyer in this file, I'm going to either suspend disbelief or just hope for the better. Just make sure you know what you're doing. But with Pat King, this is a wickedly political file. I can understand why Pat King might be a difficult client, but there might be lawyers who are saying, geez, Louise, this isn't worth it. This is simply not worth it. I might not get paid. I don't know what the circumstances of that are, but this is just not worth the political flack that I'm going to get as an Ottawa attorney practicing in a very small community in Ottawa. Judges judges are human. Justice is human. Judges may remember the name of someone who defends Pat King and or potentially defends Pat King a little too successfully. How can there be concern for reoffense if he has not been convicted of any crimes yet? That is what the judge in Tamara Litch effectively said when, to counter the reasoning of the officer of the peace or the justice of the peace who said, high likelihood she's going to get convicted. the judge who reheard that said, no, there's not a high likelihood she's going to get convicted. There's not a high likelihood she's going to serve more time than she might serve if she's waiting in jail pending her trial. It's true. These individuals are legally innocent. Now, that being said, when they say reoffend, and what they mean to say is go out and break the law again. But conditional release is the constitutional rule. Reasonable bail is the constitutional rule, not the exception like these officers and Tamara Litch and Pat King have made it to be. If I release him, it's going to undermine faith in the judicial system. No, that's putting the carriage in front of the horse. That is bass backwards, as we say. Will you be discussing the backdoor deal between Trudeau and Singh? I talked about it yesterday. That is the coalition of sorts of the New Democrat Party and the Trudeau government. Jagmeet Singh, who spent the last 6 years calling Justin Trudeau dangerous, useless, corrupt, divisive. Hey, what do you do? What do you do with the enemy? You join them. So congratulations, Jagmeet. No, but I talked about that yesterday. So Pat King, the hearing's going to be on Thursday. I have something Thursday. James O'Keefe, we're going live at 11, so I'll try to stream that afterwards maybe. Stream it in the legal sense, as in I'll be listening and relaying the information the same way they do the live tweeting. But people, do not rebroadcast visuals, audios, screen grabs, any image from court. You're not allowed going into court and taking pictures of the courtroom and posting them to social media, period. So people have to appreciate that. It's not because it's on a Zoom meeting online for people to access that you can rebroadcast it. You can't. Exceptions aside. I mean, unless the judge specifically says you can, but like the judge doesn't want to see supercuts from court. The judge doesn't want to see memes made from judges during court. It's one thing to go and see it. It's another thing to then think you can rebroadcast, republish, and do what the internet does with video. So that's Pat King update. So apparently it's going to be, if there's a Zoom meeting Thursday, I'll try to get in on it. But people, James O'Keefe and his lawyer are coming on at 11 Thursday to talk about the Project Veritas stuff, which we're going to get to later on in the stream because I want to go over the paperwork before we bring on the guests because there's a lot of paperwork to go through. Freedom George is still being held from convoy. Bail was denied. No, and by the way, and Artur Pawlowski, hold on. Let me just see where he is. Artur Pawlowski's still in jail, purportedly for violating the terms of his release.